All right, so if we want to look at a line in slope-intercept form, that's y equals mx plus b. This is called the slope-intercept form because m represents the slope of the line and b represents the y-intercept. That's where the line crosses the y-axis. All right, so something else that we need to know is that if the line is parallel to another line, it will have the same slope, but if it's perpendicular, then the slope is going to be the negative reciprocal. Okay, so I'm going to try and maneuver this. So if we look at this, y equals to 2x plus 1. So that means the 2 is going to be the slope of the line, and the 1 is going to be the y-intercept. And remember that if m is 2, that's 2 over 1, okay? Because that's what a whole number is over. For all whole numbers, they're over the number 1 because of the identity property. So we want to get a line that's parallel. That means that the slope is going to be the same. So it can be y equals 2x plus 3. It's just a different y-intercept. Y equals 2x minus 5. It can be, the y-intercept can be any number, but the slope has to be the same. Oh, I forgot one other thing. So if the slope is going to be perpendicular, so if you look at the notes on top, we take negative reciprocal. So that means that the slope for a perpendicular is going to be, so this slope is going to be 2. The slope for perpendicular is taking the reciprocal, so that means that I'm going to switch the numerator and the denominator, and I'm going to get 1/2 and making it negative. So the perpendicular slope is going to be negative 1/2. So that could be y equals negative 1/2 x plus 6. Or I can still even use the same y-intercept plus 1. So it can be any number. You can make it negative. The y-intercept changes, and the slope will change to a negative reciprocal. For a parallel line, it's gonna the slope is gonna stay the same, but the y-intercept changes. But if it's none, that means that I can just say y equals 3x minus 2, or I can just, everything's gonna be different. So I can say y equals negative 1/3 x plus 6. So that just changes. So similarly, if I do another example, if I do y equals negative 3/4 x minus 6. So that means the slope is going to be the same. So the slope is going to equal to negative 3/4 x. 3/4. Okay, so that's my m value. So I can do my y equals negative 3/4 plus 5, or you can just give me any number. I would ask you guys if, I forgot the x there, if you were with me, plus 6. See, this is minus 6, this is plus 6. And if it's perpendicular, the slope is going to become the negative reciprocal. So this is going to, since it's 3/4, reciprocal is switching the numerator and the denominator, the 4 and the 3. So it becomes 4 over 3, and this was negative, so that means that it's going to be positive. So it's going to be y equals 4/3 x minus 2, or y equals 4/3 x minus 6. Either way is the same. Now, if we want to do anything here, this could still be the same thing. You see that? Or I could just make up my own y equals 5x plus 2. You see that? The slope and the y-intercept is going to be different.